What's going on, Big D Energy? Welcome in on this Monday. Yes, let me see, August 23rd. Yes, I am Darren McCarty, joined today on this marvelous Monday by the one and only Terry Foster.
My bad. I thought you were Neil, man.
No, that's it, dude. I got it. You're good. You know what? That's what we do around here. Obviously, Neil and Joink will be back tomorrow to join me. But good to see you, Terry. Art on the ones and twos and fish in the fishbowl here. So lot to talk about. I can't remember the last time you and I have done a show. Like what this two of us, it's probably been a bunch of years. Probably never, maybe never.
That's what I think.
They won't let us alone. So big news, obviously, starting out. Miguel Cabrera.
Right. I figured he was going to hit it when I wasn't watching, and that's exactly what happened.
I was listening. I was not watching, but I did hear Dan Dickerson. By the way, we're going to get to him later on. He's going to join us and talk about his great call. So I was happy not only that he got to make the call. It sort of was like the solo call because he was by himself. But, it was great. I heard it. I know a bunch of friends because I tweeted it out or texted it out, and they're like, gosh darn it. One of my buddies was listening to Bon Jovi. Yeah, Jay. So
yeah. Well, we're never far from news sources. I was out having brunch, and then all of a sudden, everybody's phone started blowing up. And they said, 500. That was it.
I had more people, in predicting. Obviously, we wanted it to happen here at home, but more people thought it would happen on Sunday. I mean, I'd like people say, I know he's going to get it on Sunday. He's going to get it on Sunday. So I was just happy to hear that he's happy that he can go back to playing baseball. So it had to. I think the pressure was building on.
Yeah, it was building. I didn't think it was initially because he's done so many things. Why would this 500 quest bother him? Because if he doesn't hit it Monday, he'll get it Tuesday, he'll get it Wednesday. It's not like he'll never get it. We knew it was going to happen, but I think the part of it was wanting to do it in front of the home fans because, like Miggy said, there was more energy in Comerica Park than we've seen in years, and he wanted to send people home happy.
Yeah, I just hope now that, obviously 28th player, I think, with 500, but the fact that he can be 500 and 3,000 hits, hopefully he does the 3,000 hits at home because that's the accomplishment because I think he'll only be the 7th player to do that. So he just backs him. But you bring up a great point. This is a guy who had a triple crown, right? That's got to be a lot of pressure watching guys in 3 different categories try to beat you at the end of the season. So, I guess that would make sense. Even the best in the world or one of the best at his position still feel pressure.
Well, here is what people say about pro athletes. They don't care. They don't care if you show up. They don't care if you cheer. They don't care about anything. And that's just not true.
That's BS. Because people ask me during the COVID with no fans or whatever. I'm the type of player that feeds off the fans and the emotion in the building and stuff like that. It would have been harder to play for a guy like me.
Right.
So don't. That is not true. I think that's the cop-out because of what athletes are paid these days.
Correct.
Right? So that's a cop-out because you can't get paid, more money than you deserve or than anybody else can fathom. And that automatically means because you make $30, $40 million that you don't care. That's wrong.
But it's also Miguel Cabrera can't thank each and every fan for showing up to watch him hit his 500th home run or thank them for being there along the route. You can come out and tip your hat, say, hey, thanks a lot, but that's not thanking everybody individually. Yeah, thank you very much there, Sam, for showing up and supporting me. That's impossible to do. So I think people say, okay, well, they don't care.
No, they don't care. As you see, Miguel Cabrera, if you hadn't seen it before, took Steven Matz into the bullpen in Tiger bullpen in right field. So that brings up another conversation. That are you disappointed that we don't have a topic of a fan, holding the ball and being able to either request money or are they going to give it back for an autograph?
Well, it shows either the sincerity or greed of fans. Cut my check for $200,000. Here's your ball. Cut my check for $50,000. Whatever. Here's the ball. And the thing is, well, he makes so much money, it's not going to hurt him and everything. But I think it's a principle thing.
Yeah.
That he's a guy that has played for your city. I wouldn't ask for money. Excuse me. And a lot of people disagree with that, and I understand that, but I just wouldn't, because it would be. Would I ask a normal person for a bunch of money for a ball? And the answer was no. The only reason, quote unquote, I would ask him is because he makes a lot of money.
Right. Right. Well, but does that, go count other people's money? I said it the other day, just being the fan that I was, that if I had the ball, I wouldn't charge him. I wouldn't money, but I'd have some memorabilia, Triple Crown memorabilia from back in the day. I'd be head to toe. You betcha every year I'd be going out as Miguel Cabrera for Halloween, right? So dressed head to toe.
Oh, yeah, you'd have the helmet on, probably the pants.
Well, you brought up a point. Speaking of the helmet, the ball, and the pants,
something
right?
pissed me off this weekend. As soon as Miggy hits the home run, I'm out and about, and I go home, and I turned on my little computer, and this ad shows up. Chrome Miguel Cabrera 500th home run helmet, chrome ball, 2 Miggy commemorative 500 home run bats, and then there was something else. I can't remember what it was, but it just seemed so cheap to me, because it wasn't well designed. It was a bunch of guys that said, okay, as soon as he hits 500, we're going to make money.
Yeah.
The stupid ball was $60. The chrome batting helmet was $159. The bat was like $200.
So it's like a $400, $500, and like you said,
if you get the whole package, it looks like it was like $400 or $500.
Really, times 500. There's
they limited to
math.
500. Yeah, this is okay. Let me get rich quick, or not really rich, but let me profit off of this man's accomplishments.
Yeah, I think that's the world that we live in as far as whatever else. I know I was mentioning it to you, I saw the Quick came out with the Miggy 500 t-shirts, and what caught my eye is that the 500 Club was written in writing, right? So it wasn't the number 500, it was written out, which looked pretty cool, right? So
yours at least looked cool. Mine,
yeah,
one that I think I looked was trashy.
Yeah, and so I guess my point is, Terry, is it the fact that somebody's trying to make money, or somebody's trying to make cheap money? At least, like, are you saying at least give me, like, put something out there that sort of looks like it's a collectible thing instead of just some sort of trinket that you get at the fair, the circus, and that's overpriced galore, right?
Yeah, that was my point. It was like, you could tell, okay, this is they had thought about this for a while, but they just didn't put thought into making this special, I guess.
Well,
but I guess they think the chrome made it special.
The chrome made it special?
It was shiny and.
Yeah,
but it was not my thing. I don't know why that upset me, because Sports Illustrated, every time someone wins a championship, they come out with a commemorative issue, T-shirt, hat. I'm fine with that.
Right.
This bothered me. Can't tell you why. It just did. Stuff just
probably the cheapness of it, right? Because in knowing like the history, like you said, they have the championship T-shirts, and the joke is that where do the losers go? Well, we find them, they're used across the country, or not across the country, in other continents and stuff like this.
They're in Afghanistan. They're in Jamaica. They're the loser T-shirts.
Yeah.
Are sent,
and you don't have a problem with that as much as like.
No, you know why? Because one, it's helping somebody that needs clothing, and I'm just used to that. That's
absolutely.
I know fans want a T-shirt. They want something. T-shirts are special in our society.
Yeah, Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, you're right, because it's obviously going back, and then you're going to spend money, and you can't really pass it down and stuff like this. So, yeah. So, but if it's a bet, no matter which way you go, Terry. And you know what? If you're going to bet on this network, Woodward Sports, I would go to mybookie.ag. Yes, it's a winning season. Returns at mybookie.ag, and it's time to get into the action. First-time players can get started by doubling your first deposit. Yes, match it up to $1,000 when you initially deposit using code Woodward. That's right. Go to mybookie.ag, put in Woodward. Anything up to $1,000, bang, you get it right back. Now, historic 18-week schedule offering more action than ever. You need a sportsbook casino that's reliable. You won't find a better place. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.com. It's where do you use MyBookie, Terry? Check out the lines and stuff like this.
They have some pretty incredible bets that you can't lose on. I mean, the Manny Pacquiao, he lost his match, but if it's something you can get like 30-1 odds or whatever, so you can bet on both fighters and still win.
Yeah, there's boosts all over the place, and honestly, it's the one thing, Adam, you catch here on Morning Wood. He's great at all that stuff, but the boosts are where it's going. So we're going to take a break here. Big D Energy. When we come back, we're going to talk to the voice, radio voice of the Detroit Tigers, Mr. Dan Dickerson here at Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome to the Call Sam Chopper Shop, where you can win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time.
Watch as the Bad Pig Custom team turns this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
And when it's finished, we'll be donating the bike to Volunteers of America, Michigan to raffle off in support of our vets.
A great cause to give back to those who've given so much.
Watch for Call Sam Chopper Shop episodes on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
And folks, this is history coming up here on the Woodward Sports Network. Miguel Cabrera and his 500th home run, call from Dan Dickerson. It's coming.
I love his react.
Deep, got a chance! 500! Miguel Cabrera has done it!
Look at that.
A high five to Santiago as he rounds third, and his teammates pour out of the dugout, and this crowd in Toronto on their feet. The welcoming committee from every teammate as he heads down those dugout steps. There have been more than 20,000 players in Major League history. Miguel.
Have you, before we bring Dan on, Terry, that reminds me, obviously me being a player, but as a journalist and as a reporter and stuff that has to sort of be even keel, have you had those moments where you were utterly, had that same excitement, not only for maybe a player, but the team?
Probably not as much as Dan Dickerson is displayed. And even sometimes I get like a little jolt inside, but normally we're working and we can't show that excitement. But there's been times that I was like, okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. But I'm not jumping up and down. But maybe inside you're like, all right, I can see this is sweet.
Now would I would say would the Pistons have that most effect on you because of covering them back in the day? The guy, more personal connection.
Yeah, probably, but I was still thrilled when you guys won your first cup because it's been so long.
Right.
And I grew up as a kid watching the Wings just get destroyed on the ice. I went through darkness with Harkness, and if I wasn't watching your games on Channel 50, I was watching. Sometimes you would make Hockey Night in Canada, and it would be like, okay, Maple Leafs 5. Red Wings 2. Why is this happening? And then when you finally win a cup, it's like, all right, this is fine, because by then I had known the Illages a little bit, and to me, it was important for the whole community to see you guys win the cup, see the Pistons win the championship. So I was happy for the community.
That's awesome. Well, you brought up the Toronto to bring there, and he was there last night. And I don't know how many people out there were jealous of this man, but Dan Dickerson, the radio voice of the Detroit Tigers, joins us. Double D, I could see by your excitement. Obviously, it took a little bit longer, and it would have been nice to call it at home. But can you take us through what it meant to you as the voice, but as the baseball fan, as a Detroiter, to call that home run yesterday? And thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Great to see you. Terry, good to see you.
My pleasure. I was talking to your bride last night. Lori. Yeah, because I told her my son is at Michigan State studying communications. She's like, oh, really? Oh, I got to meet the guy.
Oh, look out. She's going to get the full court press and get him going, that's for sure.
She almost talked Celine into going to Michigan State. Almost.
Ooh. Almost. Close.
Right.
Where'd she end up going?
Stanford.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, they're in the running. That's pretty good.
I know.
Yep.
So yesterday, I mean, it's really interesting. You know, Miguel was averaging about a home run every 30 at-bats this year. He hit that home run 31 at-bats after 499. So it wasn't unexpected, but, you know, after he hits 499, every single plate appearance, you're just locked in. You're like, oh my God, this could be it. And then it goes to 15, 20, 25 at-bats. You're reminding yourself, okay, this could still be it. Let's stay focused here. But I don't know. It was just really neat. It really was. I just admired how he handled it. You know, everybody at home standing up, going crazy when he goes to the plate, and then goes silent. When have you heard a ballpark go silent when the home guy's up and it's a big moment? So, I mean, but he handled it. He didn't look like he was trying to hit home runs. He was trying to do what was right in that at bat. I don't know. I just think he loved it. He embraced the moment. Fans got a chance to show in every one of those at-bats. Maybe that was the best thing. Over 6 games, they got to show in every single at-bat by standing up and cheering how much he's meant to this franchise. I think he took that to heart. And then to see the Toronto fans do it was really neat. But it was just a great moment.
Dan, when you knew 500 was coming, did you have something you wanted to say, or do you want it to all be spontaneous and emotional when the 500 home run actually came through?
Yeah, it's a fine line because you can't just be caught on, off guard, but you can't plan it out either. So I did want to get in the part, and this is just because it's something I talked to. My son is not a big baseball fan. He's not a sports fan, which is kind of funny. But we were talking the other day, and he knew that Miguel was approaching 500. And so he said, well, how many people have played Major League Baseball? I'm like, well, over 20,000. He goes, and then he kind of does the quick math and goes, oh, well, that's pretty good then. He's only the 28th to, hit 500. So it just planted the seed in my mind. I thought for just the general audience to put it into perspective. I mean, we keep hearing 28th to hit 500, 28th to hit 500, but now you put it in perspective how special being one of 28 is. So anyway, that conversation, I wanted to get that in, but it's not part of the call. The call just has to be a reaction. So just trust yourself, trust you're going to react to the moment, and use your eyes, describe, and then, you can get in that little nugget that I wanted to get in at the end. But it has to be about reaction. If you plan it out, you're toast.
My question, Double D, is did you know it was gone off the bat? Like, there's a few times in these last 31 at bats where you've got to watch it and go, like the sound of the bat, if it's hit. I know there's been a few at home, either down the right field line or hit it in deep center. But, did you think this was the one when he hit it?
Off the bat, it looked good, but it was right center. And so then you're thinking, okay, it's got to carry. For some reason, it didn't seem, that's a home run hitter's ballpark. It just didn't seem like some balls that, you would think would go out they were not going out the whole weekend. So, no, I was not sure. It looked good off the bat, but that actually makes it almost a better call because then it's like, deep, it's got a chance instead of a no-doubter. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I was going to say that your code word for this is definitely a home run is the no doubter.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Ohtani's the other day. But that one was a no doubter. And what a performance, that was by him. But my question is we mentioned to Terry, do we know who caught the ball in the bullpen? And did Miguel get it back after the game, or was there because they went into the Tigers bullpen, correct?
It was just from my vantage point, just to the left of the bullpen, in deeper right center. So the bullpen was more toward the right field line. So my understanding is, first of all, the perfect scenario. Our Authentics people have been traveling with the team, and they were all ready to negotiate with a fan, and they had all kinds of little trinkets and treats and incentives to get the ball back. So it lands in a spot where nobody is. And I think one of our bullpen catchers, Tim Reams, went over and got it.
Nice.
And then our Authentics guy, Jordan Field, went out and got the ball from him. They're all specially marked, so they know it's the ball. I'm thinking, what if it's rattling around by the batting cages out there? What if it gets mixed in with a whole bunch of other balls? But no, they were numbered and sequenced, and they got it back easily. So again, the best case scenario, because I know they were preparing for some serious negotiations if it had gone into the stands at home.
That's awesome.
You seem genuinely thrilled. Not excited, but thrilled. Like, this is really huge and everything. So talk about your I guess your enthusiastic level, but you also have to make sure that you're calm enough to call it so we understand it.
Yeah.
So how difficult was that?
It's just something you kind of learn through the years, that it's good to get excited. Make a good call for both teams, but it's obviously better for the home team. But also, you can't just start cheering and going crazy. The listener, my guiding philosophy is always, thanks to Ernie Harwell, does the listener have a clear understanding of what just happened? So go ahead, get excited, but they better understand that, that was a walk-off, or that was a ground ball single that scored the run. You can't just start yelling. You got to make sure you continue to describe with just excitement in your voice. And I just love calling baseball games, and I love the Tigers, obviously. So it's easy to get excited for me. It's easy, to really rise to the moment. I saw, they put that camera in the booth starting on the homestand. I'm like, I don't want this in the booth. They're like, don't worry, you won't even notice it after a while. And they were right. I just didn't want to, think that I have to do something for the camera. I was surprised when I saw the clip that they posted. I'm like, I don't even remember doing that. But I do tend to move a lot when I call games. I got to move. Strike out, I'll kind of back up and pump my fist, or do the umpire, like, ring them up. So I move when I call games in exciting moments. But that one, I was really surprised. I'm like, oh, I did that.
Awesome, Double D. I know that the day off today, well-deserved. Enjoy it for the boys off to St. Louis. We will catch you on the radio call tomorrow, but appreciate it as always. And couldn't. I was in the car listening when it happened and having that connection, so I thank you for it and to see your excitement. And we'll catch up with you soon. I think, the last thing is, do you think Miguel's got an outside shot to get to 3,000 this year? I know he's got 45 hits left with only 36 games. So,
yeah, it's probably an outside shot, yes. But he is swinging the bat pretty well right now. He'd have to get on a roll. You see him get on a roll, say, and have that 10, 12 game streak where he's got 20, 22 hits, something like that. And believe me, he can do that. Yeah, keep an eye out, because he just might do it. I mean, it's probably going to be next year, but I wouldn't put anything past Miguel Cabrera.
Well said. That's Dan Dickerson. Thanks, Double D. We'll catch up with you soon.
That'll be his next big call, 3,000 hits.
That's it. That's the next. Hey, stay tuned for his next big call. That's
and then
right.
After that, the Tigers clinch the pennant or the division. That'll be your next call
and
after that.
Wow. We got it all figured out here.
That'll be 20 years from now.
Like
no, I was just kidding.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey.
We'll get it figured out. All right, enjoy your time, Dan. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Take care.
You bet. That's Dan Dickerson, radio voice of the Tigers. You know what? He saw him walking outside, right? He's a little bit hot. You know what? If he gets inside and he's still hot, you might want to go to Northwestern Tech. You, too, can start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. Darren McCarty, this is Terry Foster, sitting in for Neil Rule and Joint Bell because he's the only guy that can fill in for two guys at once because he's the boss. Anyway.
Double duty.
That's it. Big D Energy. Stay tuned here at Woodward Sports Network.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. With historically low interest rates and 5-star service, you could pay your mortgage off faster without increasing your monthly payment. Get started now at 248-308-5000 or chat with us online. Callhallfirst.com.
All right, I am a guy that puts so little interest in preseason games. I did not watch. When Dan Campbell said, I'm not playing my starters, Dan Campbell is telling you this game is not important. He's telling you I want to see my second and third string guys. He's telling you we're not preparing for the regular season. Once he said all those things, in essence, I was out. I did not watch them. I watched some highlights later. But to me, preseason football is probably the biggest waste of time in any sport.
Well, I totally somewhat agree. I think
you don't play your starters.
Right, when you don't play your starters or what you're looking for, because everybody's trying not to get hurt. So I didn't watch it either. I listened. I caught the call for, some parts of the second half. But the most interesting thing that I took out of the game, right, is obviously that, okay, David Blau is your backup, more better than Boyle, but not worrying about it because Goff's supposed to be the guy. But also, too, Dan Campbell said that, some guys that are going to earn their spots and some guys who think they got spots might not have earned their spots.
Is that
So, well, I got to think that. Isn't that done? Isn't that experiment over or whatever it is?
You would hope it is. If it's not, then there's something wrong with Dan Campbell and his staff. Something is wrong. Why would you keep a guy on your roster that is going to hurt your team? Now, maybe you keep him on there for some contract reason, whatever, and make him a backup. But you already know that if Tavai is in a regular season game, at some point, well, no, not even at some point, in multiple points, he's going to hurt your team. Because why did they draft him? Because he's a big guy. We want a big guy in there. Well, guess what? The big guy can't move. And people are blowing by him. When I was first watched the NFL, I was fearful of teams that were big. Now I'm fearful of teams that have speed. Speed kills now. It's different. Not saying these guys aren't big, but they're not huge like they used to, but they're fast.
The speed kills in every sport now, and I'll say in hockey and football, because the rules have changed.
Right.
The big guys can't do the things that they used to do or get away with and stuff like that. Now, the smaller guys, the faster guys, we're seeing it, are the most valuable ones.
And well, here's the other thing. Run on a football field at your local high school team. Then run on AstroTurf. Your legs are quicker. Your knees go up. The AstroTurf makes you a faster athlete. It might be bad for the knees, but not only are these guys trained to run faster, but they're running on a quicker surface.
Yeah, it's crazy that the fact that you see some of the times that in this league, like that's the whole thing. You're bringing up the linebackers and the Tavai experience. It's sort of the same thing as Steve Eisman just bought out Franz Nielsen. So, who's the next one of the Lions to be bought out? But you speak of linebackers. The one thing in watching highlights or listening to is obviously you're looking for the draft picks, right? The recent draft picks is what have you done for me lately? And a guy like Derek Barnes. as a linebacker seemed to come out of that game, and people speaking pretty highly of him, that he's got some growth to happen, but it looks like he's a legit guy in the middle there.
Yeah, Derek Barnes has, I don't want to say surprised people, but he has been one of the surprises of training camp, where you want to see where he's going to project 2-3 years from now. He's going to be with this team. Now, it would be a shame if a guy like Tavai gets even one snap that Derek Barnes deserves. He shouldn't be on the field. Derek Barnes should be probably a rotational guy, at least maybe even a starter on this team. Probably wouldn't be on every team in the NFL because the Lions are kind of in a rebuild right now. They're pathetic. But if you see young talent that's fast, that's maybe making mistakes, that's okay. But fast, aggressive, hungry, that's all I want to see. I'll put up with the mistakes.
Yes, absolutely, especially right now. Now, this doesn't, obviously it's trying to fill in that who's there and who can be molded and who's going to learn, right? A lot of times, too, is you got to look at, like, I ask you, if you cut Tavai or whatever and he goes on to be the Kyle Van Noy somewhere else, you're good with that, though, right? Like,
yeah, let him be great somewhere else. He can't, for whatever reason, he can't help my club.
Right.
So if you can help somebody else, God bless you.
Right, exactly. Because I think a lot of times we get into, we guys go on to leaving here in Detroit, especially the football team, and they go to somewhere else and they're successful. Why couldn't we make them successful? Sometimes it just doesn't work in a certain system. So what do you expect, Terry, to hear out of Allen Park after, like, in preparation? So we're into the week before the last preseason game, and we all understand that the rah-rah and the attitude, but still the product is still crap, right? Like, a lot for the most part, like, this doesn't seem like a 500 team. This seems like,
man, I'm in a good mood today.
You are.
I'm not going to call it crap. I'm going to call it growing.
Okay.
Developing.
Okay.
Not a polished
See how I tried to feed him there with the
You tried.
Did you see how I tried to? But you know what? That goes back to Terry had cramps on Saturday. He walked 4.5 miles on Sunday, so he's feeling the positivities.
That's right.
So if Terry Foster can be positive here on Big D Energy, why can't we all, Arthur? Arturo from Flint.
Listen, I've been saying it. I think that watching the preseason games and judging the criteria of the Lions from preseason is total nonsense. I mean, when you think about it, the Steelers cut most of their men and brought out the crap squad, and we got our 20 points at least. And it's a trial period. Like, we don't know anything until the season starts.
Here's the one thing that I do like, right? Because, like you say, that the growing is what's the attitude, right? What right. Are you looking and seeing? Attitude plays are recovering that pile, recovering that onside kick. I don't care how hard it is, but that's the try effort that they left in. You mentioned quarterbacks. Tim Boyle, was in their first half, 7 for 15, 44 yards. David Blau came in 12 for 17, 143. I get it against the scrubs, but what do you make of just 2 games in a row, 2 weeks in a row? Craig Reynolds, who we mentioned last week, picked up the day before and ran one in. Well, he had 5 rushes, 29 yards, and a touchdown. Do you think this is a guy that's going to make the team?
That's a guy, he has to make the team because he's done everything they've asked him to do. First of all, came in off the streets.
Right. And
that's a strike against him because all these other guys are more established. They may have contracts. They may have agents who are more powerful than with this guy. But what he has done, he's come in and said, okay, I don't care if it's the 3rd or 4th stringers, I'm producing. So when you get a guy like that, that's a young guy. That's a guy that has something to prove. And I think the Lions now, it's not a bad thing to have somebody on there, a little bit pissed off. I need to prove something. I'm better than these guys. I'm proving it. So reward me.
Well, that's the attitude that you have to have sometimes, is pushing up. And I think that goes back to the comment that I mentioned, is some guys that are working for a spot as opposed to some guys who maybe think they have a spot. So that's just
now. You told me you were proud of me for being positive.
Yes.
Or optimist.
Yes.
Now I'm going to be bad.
Okay.
Now I'm going to be bad. Sorry.
I like it. Yes.
All right. I am worried that the reason we're not seeing Jared Goff isn't to protect him, because he's not going to play this week either. So Jared Goff is done for the preseason. The little devil on my shoulder, is over here saying, you know what, T? They don't want the public to see this guy. He's not good. He's not performing well right now. So if Jared Goff is screwing up in practice and nobody sees it, well, big deal. But if he's out at Ford Field or Heinz Field throwing picks and everything, we can all see it. They don't want to start a controversy. That's the little bad devil guy on my shoulder saying that. I'm wondering if that's the case, or is it the case that they just don't want him to get injured?
All right, before I let you say, Art, I'm going to go to maybe it's the lingering injuries or something they don't want. They want to make them 100%. So I'm going to go with there might be something nagging to keep him off. But no, I know you're little devil, but I refuse until I see it. Right?
Okay.
So you're saying so 2 or 3 weeks into the season, I could be going, T. Foster, little devil, was probably right. But I'm still going. Remember, I'm the guy that said that I think Jared Goff could have an impact to this organization like Brendan Shanahan did to the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, but Brendan Shanahan could play.
I understand.
He was.
But if you
he was at a higher level than Jared Goff.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm using Art's. What do you got, Art?
I just he went 7 for 9 in his first game, so there's that. Again, it's the preseason, so it doesn't mean anything. What I want to know, Terry, is can you take the devil off of your shoulder and give us one good takeaway from the game against the Steelers? One, just one.
I got one.
Okay.
Our punter is awesome.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
He's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
He kicked a 70-yarder, bro.
I know, but
and he put it in the Woodward Sports Network truck, too.
Absolutely.
And shout out to Fox. He's the man.
Shout out to the Fox.
But that's our one good thing.
You asked me.
I asked Terry.
No, so I'm taking that one. Terry, give one good thing.
I agree.
Oh, come on.
Bam.
That's the perfect one. Well, that's a great segue. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, Terry, you know what a Karen is, right? Did you see what happened in the stands?
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see the ultimate Karen experience in the stands? Well, if you haven't seen it, we got it here for you. This is a Tom Mazaway exclusive. Anyways, we're here. Listen and watching wherever you can. Download that app, Woodward Sports Network. This is Big D Energy, Woodward Sports.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
All right, we welcome back to Big D Energy. Terry Foster, Darren McCarty here, and we were mentioning, I don't know if you guys have seen it. Terry, you saw this, right?
Yeah, this is not a Tom Mazaway exclusive, brother. He got it from me.
No, I understand, but he loves the like as far as the Karen controversy and stuff like that. That's why. But so this is a T5. So what did you? So you brought it to the attention. I'll let you explain it or whatever else, because I didn't get the full concept of it until you guys started spreading.
One of the problems we're having in the NFL, we haven't even started the season yet.
Right.
Fights in the stands. Fights, we had a huge problem here in Detroit when the Lions played the Silverdome. Every game, there was like 2 or 3 fights.
Listen, you go to the Silverdome, right? And it'd be like, okay, you'd wait, and it'd be like definitely by third quarter, maybe like that. But there would be in the upper bowl, it was almost like old school UFC, whatever, bar room, bare knuckle brawling. Like you'd see 5, 10. There'd just be brawls in the upper deck.
And my favorite thing is when they would fight, they would punch so slow. It's like, how could you not see that punch coming? And then when they rolled down the aisle, it was always in slow motion. How do you fall in slow motion? That killed me. But now we got a problem again, and now in this next video, this woman starts the fight, and then, you know, if your woman is there and she's in trouble and some guy is threatening her, you sort of have to step up and
you
be a
have
man.
to sort of man up,
But this guy didn't work out for him.
It too. She was telling him, you could tell right before, like if you look back here, she tells him, "Shut up, I'll handle it."
Now, what was the argument over?
Who knows?
We don't know.
Oh, see.
So now you got to stand up, and now you're in a brawl.
And Doom,
you get what you get.
That one.
That's right there.
If you want to see Night Night,
homeboy is out.
He's still knocked out right there too. Oh, now he's coming too. Okay, he's back.
He slowly comes to, and then he gets back on his feet.
Yeah, find yourself a new girl.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd be like, bitch, I just got knocked out for you. Are you serious?
But I mean, look at this shot. Boom, nunite.
And technically, usually punching up, you want to punch that. The guy had the better vantage point from top to bottom.
Yeah, but everybody can't fight, dude.
Everybody can't. But that is so I mean, I don't even know how it started. But you met. So we take it to this that. I mean, I don't know. So,
all right, home team. Way back in the day, I was covering the Pistons, and we were in Charlotte. We happened to be staying at the same hotel as the WWE performers, and so there was this woman in there being all loud and talking and everything. Well, one of the wrestlers accidentally spilt a drink on her, and she just went off. Not only did she go off on this wrestler, but then she's saying, "My boyfriend's gonna come in and kick your ass." So then I'm like, whoa. I was getting ready to leave. I said, well, I can't leave now. I can't wait for home team to come in there. So she's bitching at this guy and everything. And she probably didn't know he was a wrestler, but, you know, he had big arms, so you should probably know that. So she's saying, homeboy was working somewhere, coming to meet her for a drink. While he's driving there, he is getting set up to get his ass kicked. Now, what happened was he shows up. I'm like, oh, boy, I got to see this.
And how big is the guy? Was he a big guy?
He was a little bigger than Fish. He was a little guy.
That's what.
Right, yeah. He was all ripped and everything. So he walks in, and she said, this motherfucker, he spilled his drink on me and blah, blah, blah. I want you to take care of this. And she looked over. The wrestler was Davey Boy Smith, part of the British Bulldogs.
Yeah.
So he's like, no. You apologize for him for cussing and everything. And he said, this dude will destroy me. I would be dead. So she ended up calming down and apologized. And to his credit, Davey Boy Smith was real cool about the whole thing. He said, look, I didn't want to fight anybody. That's not what we do. We have that reputation and everything. But, you know, I wasn't, you know, I was going to try to talk to you civilly and everything. So they had a good conversation.
Yeah, that's Davey Boy Smith.
But if Davey Boy Smith had been an ass, he just would have punched my man out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Waiting for him to walk in the door.
Right.
But how do you like them apples, right? Exactly. You pour the guy, but I mean, that could have ended. So where is the civility in having a conversation or removing yourself? Because not on this, when I saw this video, this reminded me of what's going on up in the air these days.
But if you're with this girl, I want to ask you individually, Terry and D-Mac, do you stay with her? Because to me, it's over. Like, you're getting me involved in fights like this. This is your battle. You smacked him. You deal with it. I also feel as though the gentleman who was throwing the punches had every right to hit her. I'm sorry. Equal. You know, we want equality. This is what's going to happen. You don't hit anybody. I don't care who you are.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah. So if you're D-Mac, if that's your girl, You staying with her, or you breaking up
Her
with
ass
her?
is fired.
If that was my girl, she would have knocked out the dude.
Yeah.
So don't get it twisted.
There you go.
Right?
So
Like,
she wouldn't
whatever.
be slapping. She'd be punching.
She'd be throwing D-back uppercuts.
You know my wife, dude. She
Yeah.
throws straight downhill right. She would have been toe to toe.
Yep.
Right? So
Can you knock somebody out with a slap?
Woo!
I can bust your eardrum with a slap.
Okay, that's close enough.
It's all about the
Same
equilibrium.
But I can knock you out. Well, it'd be tough because you got to hit the button. No, but I can throw your equilibrium off. You can do some damage with a slap.
You could definitely knock somebody out with a slap. It's just this is the sweet spot right here. Like if you hit him in their ear.
Hold on.
Oh God,
Let me
no.
refer to my expert partner here, Mr. Sam Day.
No.
Sam.
No.
Sam, can you?
No.
Do you think that it's possible back in the day to knock somebody out? Art, just turn around for a minute.
Yeah.
To knock them out with a slap.
I don't. Stick.
It's definitely possible. If you get them with the meat, this hard part of your hand right here.
That's what I was thinking. How am I gonna hit the button? But
Why am I a crash test dummy here for everything? Everything. No, thank you.
how about maybe you bring it upon yourself? Art?
Yeah. Well, you're not wrong there. Yeah.
No, but it'd be nicer that at the end of the day is like what I learned is like look at the conversation, right? The heated conversation that even happened back in the worst situation where this guy's gonna get hammered, but people talked it out. There's no talking there, so I mean it seems like it's more and more the frustration of
Brother,
society.
women are bad.
Yes.
They are. They're bad.
They are. Wait, we can all agree with that. I mean,
here's what they always say. I don't like fighting, but if you get in a situation where she feels she's in trouble, your ass better fight whoever it is. It doesn't matter. It could be Andre the Giant. It could be Davey Boy Smith.
No,
it could be
if it's your
you.
girl, you're going
you
down.
got to stand up for her.
Right.
Or then you got problems with Mama. But if Mama gets you in too many scuffles, you got to let her ass go. Because I don't want to die young.
No, absolutely.
I hate that whole mentality though. That like I'll defend my girl. Don't get me wrong. I've got my ass beat for less, but. She's running her mouth. You get in there.
Right.
You get in there.
Right.
I'll defend my own. Don't get me wrong. I always defend my family and my wife. My exes can go F off. But if I got to defend you, it better be worth it. Because I've taken ass beatings for less, and I don't want to go down that road again. So.
Well, that's a good point. But anyways, like, you know what? If you run into an issue,
I love when he
you
does
shouldn't
that.
want to have
It's the noise.
the machete. CoastPortland.com, WSN 20% off. I've been telling you about it all the time. Obviously, hashtag How We Coast. I give away Fridays, $100 gift certificates. You got lamps, you got headlights, you got machetes, you got knives, you got... It is the best thing if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you're doing some homework, you know, first responders, they all use it. So go to CoastPortland.com, check out all the Coast products, give me a hashtag How We Coast wherever we do, and I'll give you a free gift certificate on Friday. Tell me how you'd use it. So remember, whatever you do, CoastPortland.com, WSN 20% off. Get it today. This is Big D Energy. Darren McCarty, Terry Foster. We'll be right back here at Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
We're back here on Big D Energy. Yes, Terry Foster is the only person that can fill in for two men. He is so knowledgeable.
Because we're talking about fighting, that's why.
That's what fighting and women.
Yeah.
That, you know, women are crazy.
Right
they get
down
you
my
in trouble. Right, that little devil about, you know, not knowing whatever else. Speaking of stupidity, right, and stuff like this, did you guys see this art? And this is new over the weekend, right? I hadn't seen this before, and what I'm talking about is the crate challenge art. This seems right up in your aisle, being Arturo from Flint. No. In like the design, like I could see you trying to like set this up or figure out a way, like a stagehand, and watch people, you know, like your own jackass without doing it.
Oh yeah, in the crate challenge, in case you're not familiar, I'll play a video in a second, but you stack milk crates, which I have milk crates. If you want to run them for me, it's $100 an hour. The first 5 minutes is free, okay? Because I'm going to turn this into a business, okay? But you stack the crates up in a pyramid shape. You got to make it all the way up and all the way down. Here's the issue, though. My health insurance does not cover this. It just does not cover this.
No, dude. He was done before he even started.
It's the
He's
boots.
Ouch.
Get that man some Darren McCarty CBD roll on right there. Wow. Oh, dude, get him two.
I mean, just
that back is going wow.
And here's another one. It just the hits keep coming.
Oh, look at the crowd. Look at the crowd. See,
he's got the Karate Kid stance.
You can't turn away from that.
But I mean, it's all
dude.
You're
You don't
done.
want to do it. I think. What's he
his
doing?
hands.
Is he
His
trying
hands.
to fly?
And there she goes.
Oh man.
I mean, look at this. He's like, move out of the way. I'm coming through. I'm coming through. Yep, I got this. Oh no, I don't.
Oh, dude.
This is genius.
Oh.
This you get some brownie points for. He's got the. It looks like a hookah.
Why do you have a hookah up there?
Because you got to live dangerously.
I think it's just like get.
I mean, head plant. Oh,
did you?
Now watch this one. This girl gets props. And she's doing it in high heels, mind you.
No way.
This might
Mama
be.
got heels because you got the little holes in the crate. There's no way this is gonna work out.
Listen. Terry, I agree with you about sometimes women can be, but ladies, your high heel game and all that stuff, more props to you. Not only shoving your feet, but sticking like this and being able to do stuff like this.
Notice the time, though. Patience. And that's the thing.
Yeah, but this one's not that tall either, is it?
That's pretty tall.
It's supposed to be 7 tall in the middle.
7 in the middle.
7 in the middle.
Wow.
So I see 4 there. It could be. I mean, she made it. Let me see if I can go back here.
That's my kind of girl right there.
And see how many. So I see 1, 1, 2.
I think it's smaller than.
It might be smaller. 4.
Yeah.
I want to see. Yeah.
So congratulations on the little mini pot. Did you find the one that
I'm still looking for? We gotta
give her love. She did it in high heels.
No, she gets props galore, bro.
Don't
props galore. No,
don't discount her now.
I'm not. Hey, that's your girl, man. I ain't dogging your girl. Girl did it. Your girl did it right.
I mean, but look at that. It's just health insurance is a thing that I just don't have, and so like that's a tailbone injury. That's a tailbone lower back injury.
Oh.
You know that's more dangerous than when people run alongside cars. And try with the door open.
Oh yeah,
and try to get in the car and close the door.
Look at, that's snapped ankles.
You know why?
I was more worried about his head.
You know why we have challenges like this?
Oh, his neck.
Is it population control?
Everybody's got to be somebody.
Right.
These are people don't have much going on in their life, but if I can climb this milk crate and all these people are cheering for me, this is my 15 minutes of fame. I need my 15 minutes, and I'm getting it, damn, even though it might kill me.
Absolutely.
This is what's going on here.
It is. Would you? So, Art, you saying you wouldn't do it?
If someone wants to offer me $10,000, I will, because that's going to cost at least $5,000 in medical bills, if not more. My ankles, my neck, the way that my back works, there's no way I couldn't handle it. I will admit I am a when it comes to this. There's no way that I would do it. No way.
Yeah, man, you could break your neck doing that.
Yeah. Well, and what people don't understand, too, is it's not only the fall, it's you're hitting those milk crates, and they don't bend. Like, milk crates are strong. So, and clearly we don't have a milk crate storage.
They don't bend.
Yeah, they don't bend. We definitely don't have a shortage in this country. So.
No, that's awesome. I mean, I want to know out there, and who would do this?
Why would you do this? You know there's fools out there that's going to do it, but why?
To get what do the kids want these days?
Fame, clout,
the views,
the clout.
Give me the views. Give me the views. Man, like and here's a great point, right? Right. You watch that young lady. You watch Terry's girl go through that. Her center of balance. I don't know how she kept the. kept the high heel out of the hole, but
Joey's right though. Who cares if you do it? Like, it's not like, oh, cool, you stood on some milk crates. Like, I'm not getting laid anymore or any less if I do milk crate jumping or, climbing it up. It doesn't mean anything in real life. Like, it's no feat of, like, amazing athletic accomplishment.
No, yeah, that's
You get a few cheers, and maybe somebody in the crowd will buy you a beer. It's not worth it to me.
No.
It's not worth the pay. The payoff is not worth the benefit. Fish, would you do something like that? You'd probably be pretty good at it.
I guess so, but no, I would not do any. I want to know do we know who started this? Do we know who started this?
It's a thing that went viral. Like,
well, I know that, but we don't know who created this.
No, I do not know the creator of the Milk Crate Challenge, Fish. I will try and get him on the line, though.
Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Jack Daniels and Coke. Or Jack Daniels and Pepsi or whatever.
Yeah, it was not started by a cannabis company.
Here's the thing.
Infused by alcohol.
Here's the thing. Have Joik do it. Joik is always like, oh, I could do that. He did the chip challenge, which is, I don't get that.
Joik weighs too much. He's too big of a guy.
Think about that.
I think if we were to challenge him and say that he couldn't do it, then he'd want to prove that he could do it. So.
Well, you're trying to use that reverse psychology like you did with the chip challenge, and I think that he might have learned his lesson off of that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, Art wants to see Joik get hurt.
No.
That's all.
The thing is,
why you want to see Joik get hurt?
This is something to where, like, this is like, you could break your neck. When you're up 7 milk crates high, that's 50 fishes up high. You're up 50 full-length fishes up high. There's no way. And Fish, I don't want to see you do it, bud.
I'm not going to.
I don't want to see you
no
because
plan on doing it.
This is something to where you get nothing for it. The ladies aren't going to be like, oh my gosh, you went up 7 milk crates. Let me take you out. Like, Terry, we know. It's stupid internet shenanigans.
Right, because a lot of people don't have anything in their life. And at least for this 5 or 6 minutes, I'm the man.
Yeah. Boozy, a rapper named Boozy Badass, he's from down south. He's an icon.
He did the challenge?
He was paying people 10 grand to do it. So, I mean, if there's 10 grand, I'll do it. But I'm not doing it for free. You're not going to cover my medical bills. There's no way.
But is this one of the things, this brings up, the bigger question. Is this one of the stupidest challenges that are out there for not money? And when does
there's stupider challenges.
What has to happen for people not to do it you know what I mean? Does somebody have to die?
Well, and we just went through a pandemic. Like, why weren't we doing this during the heat of the pandemic? That makes more sense because you could always put in like, oh, I was bored. The bucket challenge, I was talking to Maz and I was like, Maz, we got to get you to do it. He's like, I stopped at the bucket challenge. The bucket challenge is just ice water over your head.
Yeah, but that was for a good cause.
And it was, exactly. Now, if we're doing milk crates for Crohn's disease or something, then sign me up and I'll do it. Which I just came up with a brilliant idea, That way, when you're crapping yourself, if you fall on the crates, you could say, oh, help support Crohn's,
Next week on the Woodward Sports Network, Crates for Crohn's starring Art.
Yes, hosted by Art Smith.
Right.
No.
Who wants to do Crates for Crohn's? Come on down, see Art. Yes.
Do it right in the middle of Woodward.
Right next to where Tom Asway pees.
Yeah, there we go.
Right, exactly.
D-Mac, you want to know the stupidest challenge? It's got to be the scoop challenge that they had a few weeks or months back when they took powder. It was you had a dry scoop of protein powder. That's what it was. It was a dry scoop of protein powder, and you eat it. Basically the cinnamon challenge, but protein powder. And people were like dying.
People though?
They were dying, getting heart failures and stuff.
Heart failures.
I gotta think the one chip challenge is gotta throw people off a lot.
Now you haven't done that, have you?
I won't.
Good for you.
Fuck. What the fuck? Why seriously? I'm going to go wrestle on Thursday and throw myself around, be myself pain, but why the hell would I eat something? Like, there's a different thing. Physical pain and that hot. And Terry, here's the one thing. Since I quit drinking, I used to not enjoy hot stuff, but like my appetite or whatever. So I do enjoy heat, but I don't enjoy to be pained, right? And that goes back to, this might be it. Rookie initiation, junior hockey, so 17 years old, Prairie Fire. You know what Prairie Fire is?
I do not know.
3 shots of Prairie Fire you had to do, which is Tabasco sauce and tequila. And you had to do 3 of those. Well, I hate that threw me off so much that I had, lucky it was in the winter and in Belleville, and I could go stick my face in a snowbank. It was so hot. But like mouth heat and stuff like that, that's one of the things that no thanks.
Yeah, I'm a spice wimp. I can't take spice. Like, I mean, if it's medium, I can't take it, let alone hot. But I saw I'm a Food Network junkie.
Oh,
I saw they had a challenge. It was a challenge. You had to eat 12 wings where they put the regular hot sauce on there and then the ghost peppers hot sauce, and they grinded it up. It wasn't red, it was orange. I mean, it was so much stuff on there to make it as hot as possible. And when these guys took that first bite, they're like, whoa. And these are people that eat spicy food for a living.
Listen, I've done for charity for the UCP with my boy J.R. Adams. I've done the hot wing challenge, right, where I tell you don't ever put anything that says voodoo in your mouth, right? Like, so it wasn't as bad. There was only one that tried, but they didn't try to kill me. But I seen those episodes with they got like the Scoville levels in the millions and the billions.
Right,
like,
yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to prove you're, so-called a man or tough, but does somebody actually can somebody actually enjoy that heat? I don't know.
No, it's impossible. I will do a challenge for charity. I would do the glazed donut charity challenge.
I'm in for that.
Yes.
Any kind of donut or muffin or baked good or whatever.
What is the glazed donut challenge?
Yeah, you just eat glazed donuts.
Yeah.
But
I just made it up.
Oh,
how many it take? However many it takes.
However many you can do.
Because they have challenges like that where you can't lick your lips and you can't drink water. They have those.
But why can't you enjoy it?
Like the salty cracker challenge, those ones.
Yeah, but glazed donuts, you got to lick your lips because it's great.
Lick your lips, it's great. That's a great part of here at Big D Energy. Let us know what you'd like to do. Terry'd like the glazed donut challenge. Art's getting in for crates for Crohn's.
Crates for Crohn's.
We'll figure it all here. But one thing we're going to do, we're going to take a break. And just so you know, and I'm trying to explain to everybody here who's not a wrestling fan, that something happened in the wrestling world that is the shot heard round the wrestling world on Friday night. When we get back, hopefully we'll have Tommy Dreamer, wrestler and owner of House of Hardcore, ECW legend, join us and talk about CM Punk. Yes, the Punk is back. And we're going to talk about it. You're listening to Big D Energy here on Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome to the Call Sam Chopper Shop, where you can win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time.
Watch as the Bad Pig Custom team turns this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
And when it's finished, we'll be donating the bike to Volunteers of America, Michigan to raffle off in support of our vets.
A great cause to give back to those who've given so much.
Watch for Call Sam Chopper Shop episodes on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
I'm going to take advantage anytime that I can, Terry, and I tell everybody my favorite sport's wrestling, and it's one of these things that the love has regained over the past. One of the things that I picked back up during COVID was wrestling again, because we've talked about, for lack of a better term, everybody knows WWE, Vince McMahon, that's the dictatorship. The Forbidden Door, everything else which is opened, which includes AEW, Impact Wrestling, everything else. Well, CM Punk, who is one of the most integral and a lot of people out there favorite wrestlers just because his connection to the people, he retired and he lost his love for the pipe bomb back. We call it the pipe bomb because he came out and pretty much told it the way he was, walked away from wrestling and pretty much said that he would never wrestle again. Well, he returned on Friday, and to help explain how big this is, I want to welcome in my good friend, Mr. Tommy Dreamer, ECW legend. Can you turn your phone, bro? Yeah, no worries. That's all right. There's a lot of chairs and all that stuff. Thanks, Art. All right, we're waiting for Tommy Dreamer. Obviously, you can check him, House of Hardcore, busted open. Thanks for joining me, bro. And Can you explain to the listeners not only CM Punk coming back to professional wrestling with what wrestling is these days, but to me, it's bigger than wrestling. To me, the connection, the pop that we had as a wrestling fans, and you know, you're one of the OGs in this game at all levels. And what does this mean, or what did it signify to at least you, Tommy?
One, I always say, and you know this as an athlete, athletes need closure, and not everything goes as planned. And for CM Punk to walk away from the WWE was monumental, and he was very, very vocal about his unhappiness. And he actually went on and recorded a podcast, which then the WWE had sued him for things said on said podcast. And thankfully, nobody really won, because that would have been monumental in the whole podcasting industry. But they had a horrible, horrible breakup. And for him, I always say this, wrestlers need closure and fans need closure. And the fact that we got this guy who loved, we never thought we'd see him ever again in a wrestling ring. And we saw him in the UFC, and we saw him do every other thing. But the fact that when he came back, where grown men were jumping up and down and crying, is that emotional connection that people have to wrestling, that people have to sports, which you cannot, until you experience it live, it's just something that's so untangible for so many. And the fact that you got to see that on television was just a beautiful, beautiful moment. And I'm happy that he's back in wrestling.
No, that's awesome. And Art, I think you got a picture, because I retweeted it, that you tweeted about the fan in the stands, and I'm showing it to the audience right now. That is a full-grown man that is in tears. That was me, right? I had chills, and I've been in some biggest moments of my life, but it was reminding me of the same thing as a big fight or scoring a big goal and stuff like this, but the connection. And I think that's the real thing to me. And it's guys like yourself who are, you know, continue with the impacts and the stuff where we see this sort of forbidden door that we never thought would be opened. What does this, and not just with CM Punk, but can you explain to people that maybe used to be wrestling fans, maybe back in the day, that sort of fell out? Can you explain to them how awesome it is to be in the wrestling business, no matter at what level it is now, because what it exemplifies is love, unconditional love, and anything else. So can you talk from a guy that's been in this business all your life, what it means?
You look at any sports franchise, you ride or die with your team. And that is an emotional connection that you have, you know, that goes generations. And with wrestlers, and I never realized it, you know, because you're out there chasing your own personal goals. But so many people have hit me up and say, hey, man, I latched on to you because you would never give up. Or I latched on to you in a time in my life where wrestling helped save my life. And I was getting divorced. I was going through a hard time. I've had people reach out to me and tell me they bonded with me because of how I was the heart and soul of wrestling. And a guy specific, he was going to kill himself, and he realized that he cared about somebody else, meaning me, and he held off his suicide to see what happened to me the next week. And he just randomly hit me up. It's just these amazing moments that, again, as an athlete, you don't realize, but as you get older, you don't know how your effect on somebody else meant to them. And with CM Punk coming back, it's reminiscent of the whole Monday Night Wars, where between WCW and the WWE. WWE has always been the number one wrestling company, but now this AEW company that's only been around for under 2 years has just been making such great strides. And they also have wrestling's all about surprise moments. And when WWE is publicly firing all these people, when they were doing it during a pandemic, that's the business aspect. But when you're also doing it to top stars and people are expressing their displeasure, now there's another opportunity for guys to go out there and make more money elsewhere and entertain the fans the way they do elsewhere. It's not like in, the NHL, you have 30 some odd teams. In wrestling, you have now 4 or 5, but for the longest time, you just had 1. And it's such a difference because, hey, you now have the talk of Daniel Bryan coming to AEW, and he started that whole yes movement. The Nature Boy Ric Flair has left. Bray Wyatt has left. And at any given moment, the guy who started AEW, Tony Khan, when he pitched this to be back on cable television, he pitched that as in free agency, and you never know who's going to show up. And he's really, really lived up to that. And it's just been a game changer for everybody. So obviously my last question or whatever, because you're involved in Impact and you do huge involvement, whether it's a little less to the ring, and people, you have to understand that Tommy Dreamer, if you go back from the ECW days, the hardcore match, the man's never had a surgery, right? The man just powered. That's the most, when I'm talking to him, it's like, I've seen you go through so many tables, but to your point about bringing, because I see Impact as a big integral part of how things are intertwined. You mentioned that on Impact. I saw the AEW champion. I saw the Switchblade. I saw like the New Japan. I see all this. So yep. I guess, what would you say? My last question to you is, what would you say to all the fans out there? Is like, how it's okay to love everything, is it not? It's okay to, you don't have to hate one, you can love them all. Like, right, we've talked about this, and I think it's important that if you, for the love of wrestling out there, find your connection. It doesn't matter where it is. Absolutely, man. Listen, I'm 50 years old and I work with Impact. I watch WWE Monday Night Raw. I watch NXT. I watch AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays. I watch it Rampage now on Fridays. I watch Impact on Thursdays. I can't get enough of it. Same like baseball and football. I try to consume as much sports as I possibly can, and it only helps the industry. And again, when I talk about the industry, there was, for the last 2 weeks, I think it was about a month ago, professional wrestling was the most watched thing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's insane for cable television and revenue and all that stuff. But the audience is out there, and there should never be divide or hate on social media. Just sit back and enjoy it, because there was a time in my lifetime and in your lifetime where we didn't have all these guys crossing over. Like Christian is the Impact champion, but he is legit signed to a contract in AEW. You never know who's going to show up. There's ties with New Japan and Impact and New Japan and AEW, and all these companies are just working for the benefit of their product, but also basically for the benefit of the fans. And that's the greatest thing about it.
Mr. Dreamer, just a sec. Is the goal here to bring the WWE down because it's gotten so big?
No.
That's not the goal?
That was a massive that's a massive mistake that WCW had made when they had said, they want to put him out of business. Why? Do the Detroit Red Wings want to put the Chicago Blackhawks out of business? Do the Detroit Lions want to put the Chicago Bears out of business? You want to have that competitiveness. You want to have that rivalry.
They should.
And it benefits the fans. No. Once you think that way, you're going to go out of business.
But here's
do your own thing, and keep on winning.
Hey, Tommy, but is it fair to Terry's question that the WWE, that's their mentality to every other wrestling promotion, right? So like the perception of WWE doesn't want it, right? Where all these other companies, they're like, hey, this is our brand. We're going to put on the best product you can. If you want to put on a product better, then put on the better product. We'll let the people decide. And I think that's what the brilliance is. Well, follow him like I do at the Tommy Dreamer. Catch him at his House of Hardcore. Catch him on Thursdays. Impact behind the scenes, probably. and Johnny
I'm
Swingers.
wrestling this week.
Are you? Who you got?
I can't tell you. You gotta watch the show.
There you go.
During the show.
I think it's art.
I love it. I love it. Back in the ring at 50. I'm actually wrestling Thursday night this week too, so I'm getting in the ring in IWR Rhino's production down in Monroe. So I'll let you know how it goes. But good luck to you, buddy.
I'm in Michigan. I may drive to see you. I'm in Michigan. I may come and see you.
Are you really, dude? That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be
All right,
awesome.
man, I'll talk to you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks guys for having me.
No, thank you. The Tommy Dreamer. We're, you know what? One thing, Art, that I know, dude, whenever I talk to him, I level up.
You level up?
Level up. And speaking of levels, we were there Friday. What a great time. Thanks to Eugene and the boys. Now, go to your app. And when you're at your app store downloading the Woodward Sports app to listen to any of the great shows, you can also enjoy Levels app, available Apple or Google Play. They also, why you get that, because they have the great deals and their smokes fire. You can also find my product. I know they're carrying the Max 69 there, but the thing is they deliver. Yes, you get a chance to collect points and level up. Stop by Levels today. Tell them Woodward Sports or D-Max sent you.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Back here, Big D Energy, Terry Foster, Darren McCarty. Actually, this seems more, but I mean, no, Terry's brought up. Terry's a fighter in the crowd and stuff like this. But Art, your boy, Art's boy, Jake Paul, yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that your favorite, again? Paul?
You know what? I will.
Or are you more privy to Logan?
I don't want to say I'm a fan of either, but I have an opinion to this. So go on. I have a strong opinion.
Well, I think that you should, and anytime I go to UFC stuff, or anybody on this network should go to Art Smith of the Art of Combat. When it says, Jake Paul says that UFC fighters should be paid more.
Yes.
Now, I mean, isn't that a statement that, like, I think that they're probably underpaid for what they do, from what Dana White brings in to see during the pandemic, just from a outsider's view. And like the limited, I'm a casual fan, and I like to, when I watch, enjoy these guys because it's a lot of fun and stuff like this. But you have an opinion, Art.
Yes, I think that, truth be told, and I hate to say it, Jake Paul is 100% right. I mean, the UFC is on a mark to make $4.8 billion this year. When you take that into effect of a 600-fighter roster, and some of these fighters are only getting 10K to show and 10K to win, or as little as 5K to show and 5K to win, it's a problem. The other issue is that you have champions. The baddest man on the planet right now is Francis Ngannou. He's not getting paid what he deserves. John Jones was supposed to fight this year, but he said it was, moving up to heavyweight. Doesn't take that long to move up to heavyweight. Like, he's been inactive for so long that this is a serious issue. I think Jake Paul, he checked all the boxes. When you look at this statement that he released, he said the UFC fighters can't talk about it and they can't advocate for fighters' pay because Dana White will just shelve them. That's what happened with John Jones. I see how hard those fighters work, the fact that it's so skewed, and the most dangerous sport of them all. There needs to be a change. As much as I dislike Jake Paul, I 100% agree. 100%.
Well, you can disagree with him for what he stands, but when a guy comes out, no matter who it is, and says something that is so true, I'm behind him and stuff like this. So here's the question, right? Because the UFC, let's say that's the WWE in the wrestling. That's Vince McMahon and Dana White, the dictatorship, right? Yeah. So there's other factions out there like Bellator, but they're not, like the AEW has. But I was telling Terry during the break, the reason why the AEW works and why, like Tommy Dreamer was saying, we're not in a squash is because they have more money. Because the Cons that own Jacksonville, they own the premier soccer league team. They have billions and billions of dollars. So the investment part. So how does it change? Because that's sort of what has always been the argument throughout about Dana White. Is that the sort of dictatorship? But is it the common knowledge? Because I don't think, Terry, I don't know more so as far as an athlete what a guy makes a fight or how much they're making. I just assume that if it's a big bill, they're making, a couple $100,000 or
the other issue is, the big issue is that Dana has this cloak to hide behind, and he says, ask the fighters what they're making, because they're not telling you everything. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but the purses and the pay-per-views, those are all public. So when you're paying McGregor millions of dollars, and then you pay someone like Amanda Nunes quarter of that, half of that, that's a problem. She's as much of a champion, she's the double champ, for a reason. So the issue that I have is the cloak that you hide behind of like, well, you don't know what endorsement checks they're getting. I know that Crypto.com just recently did a sponsorship deal with the UFC. And to my knowledge, they're not making much other than when they do videos and say, hey, invest in crypto. So when you're literally wearing sponsorships and you're a walking NASCAR, in the sense to where you're sponsored by Venom, you're sponsored by crypto. On the mat, they have Monster Energy and all these other organizations and businesses, and the fighters aren't getting a cut of that. I have a problem with that as a fan, and I could see how the tide is shifting to where if something like the Ali Act came into effect, it would completely destroy the UFC. Dana does not want that to happen. The only issue is right now where it's a different regime in the White House as opposed to when his buddy Trump was there.
You know who's in a real tough spot? It's a guy like you. You can't do anything to change it, because if you boycott it, then you're not watching your favorite fighters fight.
Well, and I'll tell you this, I have an excellent interview with a man named Jerry Millen, and I have the utmost respect for him. I've been debating on releasing this interview because of my relationship with the UFC, which is none, because I've tried for months and months and even years to try and get in with them. They have a very biased media team that runs around with them, and I have nothing but respect for people like Kevin Iole, John Morgan, but you look at a situation like Ariel Helwani to where he's not allowed at the presses anymore because of what he said. The UFC is very similar to the NFL, to where if you say something they don't like, you're no longer involved with them in the sense of doing press. So it's a very slippery slope. What sucks is that we do live in a country known as America and freedom, but when you work for organizations, they kind of dictate what you're allowed to say and what you're allowed to put out there. So.
No, what are you gonna do?
Right.
What are you gonna do? We've talked about it. It's a fine line, but knowledge is power, and sometimes when you understand the game that's being played.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to play the game because you got to weigh your options out. Now, as Terry, sometimes as you get older in the end of the game, when you don't have, you don't have to think down the line of what the repercussions are. You'll save it. You always have it. But that's smart of you.
You just came up with a great idea. Terry, I could have you push the interview out, and we'll just blur my face, or we'll put your face over mine.
I was going to say, why don't I
like
do
TikTok.
it? He's my buddy.
Yeah.
Or
They're not going to come after D-Mac. You've had more fights than people have had in the entire organization.
They can come after me all they want. The thing is that if it's the truth,
and
it all depends. What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to give people that realization? Because right now is not the time, right? Dana's still got the cards in his hand, but it sounds like his cards are slowly fading away. And then over time, like you said, other factors or other people are going to come in, and it's going to come down. So this is the start of it. The fact that you have celebrities or athletes coming in around the UFC, like Jake Paul. What's he give? He doesn't give a rat's ass what Dana White does.
The other thing is, too, is someone said in the comments, like, well, if you don't want to go there, don't go there. That would be like telling Darren McCarty to not go to the NHL, the pinnacle. Like, hey, just stay in junior leagues or go play for the Flint Firebirds. Not saying that that's, to get you to where you're at.
Could you start another organization? Could you get somebody?
And that's why Bellator, with having Fedor, and they've got Corey Anderson, they've got Rampage, they have the greatest fighter of all time, in my opinion, Vanderlei Silva. You have to put an asterisk by his name. But they have, like, Chael Sonnen and Ryan Bader. They're doing similar to what AEW is doing. The thing is I love what Tommy Dreamer said. He said, we're not here to take over. Like, we want to take part of what's going on. So I think Scott Coker and the wonderful people at Bellator can get things going. And, luckily, that's the great thing about, representing MMA, is that I have talked to the people at Bellator, and I have interviewed people like Miles Fury Jury, who's right down the road, and he's in Bellator. But the issue is at the end of the day, you're a $4.8 billion company, and you're paying your fighters $10,000 to show up. Imagine if you were paying your NFL rookies $10,000 to show up.
And to the point, what Jake Paul said, in the most violent, dangerous sport of them all, right? I can agree with that, and I played a violent, dangerous sport too, but I mean, it's crazy. So I think the awareness, right, bringing it to the forefront, that you know, sometimes it's got to change, but he's got the power. You got to see where the power lies. He's got the power.
Yeah, but when you are in charge of a sport, your initial reaction is to get as much money as you can from me.
Yeah.
And for my people. At some point, the athlete has to step up, risk public ridicule, but if they don't do that, they'll never get paid. So now it is time for the fighters to say, you know what?
But they can't, Terry, because if they do, if you stand up to the regime, you get cut. And it's happened so many times.
As a whole.
But fighters are not going to do that. They've tried unions before, and they had people like Donald Cowboy Cerrone and others like, hey, we're going to form a union. And then next thing you know, it just stops getting talked about. And that's because Dana and the team pull you aside and say,
they have the money, right? Because they can intimidate and keep you separate. Anyways, we're going to take a break here, but when we come back, we're going to keep the fight game. Terry mentioned it earlier, even though he lost to a booster on mybookie.ag on Manny Pacquiao. Is it time for Manny to finally hang him up? I don't know. We'll talk about it. We get back here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports. I'm going to hand it off to you because Terry Foster and talking about Manny Pacquiao and coming back, and I don't know if you watched the fight or whatever, but he lost a decision to your Dennis Ugas Saturday night. Ugas retained the championship. Now, I've heard Manny Pacquiao's name for a long time. It's got to be time to hang him up, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in that fight, what Manny Pacquiao discovered is he wanted to counterpunch against this guy. And when he tried, the legs were saying, nope, not happening. You can't leap out like you used to and counterpunch like you did before. So I think Manny Pacquiao is even saying, you know what, maybe this is it. But it takes a while for you to come to grips. You got to be away from it, and then it's going to hit him that I can't do what I used to do before.
It goes back to the conversation earlier with Tommy Dreamer about fans and athletes. They need closure, some sort of closure. So maybe this was like that itch that he had to scratch to realize, like, it's got it. Sometimes
or reality hits,
right?
It's
or reality hits.
I fought last year and I felt pretty good, and I fought this year and it felt different.
Yeah.
So maybe a guy like Manny Pacquiao needs one more fight after this to prove something that he probably already knows. I don't have it anymore. Because there is that spirit, I don't care how old or how young you are, there's something in your mind that says, I can do this. The body might be saying, nah, brother, we've had enough, but the mind is saying, nah, we still good. So he may need one more fight to prove that this is it. And the other thing is the public will have a say in this. They say, okay, Manny, you can fight. We're not showing up. And now the promoters are saying, okay, we can't have Pacquiao on our card because I'm losing my shirt.
Right.
Dude, you out.
Right. So it's going to end out. Art, what do you got?
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, he's 62-8-2, I do believe. 62-8-2. He's also 40-plus years old. He's 42 years old. I think when boxers start getting involved in the mentality of like, oh, there's other things out there, and even fighters in general, we witnessed it with Conor. The whiskey company starts. Next thing you know, he's making suits. Next thing you know, he starts losing. When your head's not in the game and you have other avenues to focus on, the best fighters are the ones that train constantly, and they're in the gym constantly. When you start getting endorsements, you start getting modeling deals like Luke Rockhold. I mean, it just gets to a point where it's like, what is important to you? He's already proved himself. I mean, a record, he's 5-3 in his last 8 fights, which is, that's upsetting. He's 62-8. The man has fought the best of the best. He's won multiple titles. Terry, to me, leaving on a loss is always upsetting. It sucks. But at the same time, that doesn't define your legacy. People say, well, you're as good as your last fight. Well, say that to Michael Bisping, who fought with one eye, got the championship. He got clocked a couple times in his career, but you remember him for his legacy. So I think at the end of the day, you're 42, you're doing your stuff in your country. I think that's phenomenal. You're trying to change the world. Fighting's not your gig anymore.
Yeah, and plus we don't want to see great people look like Willie Mays when he was with the Mets, where he could barely catch a fly ball. Now, I was at a very sad event downtown. Tommy Hearn's last fight in Detroit. He got beat up by some dude I never even heard of. I couldn't tell you who it was. But at the end of the fight, people from Detroit were heckling Tommy Hearns. Like, get out the ring. What's wrong with you? You're old. You can't do it anymore. This is a local icon getting heckled so much that Tommy even had to pick up the microphone and tell people to shut up. That's sad.
So do you think it's a fight game that at times, because we're talking about boxers, like you said, about that they're the last one to figure it out?
Oh yeah, because they can't walk away. Everybody comes back. Everybody comes back, or they never leave when it's like, you should have left like 5 years ago. Are you serious?
Look at Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell had a phenomenal career. He had his losses here and there. He comes back and he gets destroyed by the big egghead Tito Ortiz. That's how you go out? By losing to that? Oh my God, I couldn't imagine a worse way to go out in your career. You beat him twice, then you come back through a different promotion, you get smoked, and that's what people remember you by. I remember Chuck Liddell for the Pride days. I remember him when he was the champ. I remember him with his wars. But the general audience is going to remember you for your last bout, and that's what's so depressing.
So what was Pacquiao's demeanor response, to this? Is about
he's been cool. He gave props to his opponent. He said he didn't have it. He also said that maybe he overtrained a little bit, but he admitted he had no legs.
His actual status, I guess you could say, his quote is, in the future you might not see Manny Pacquiao again fight in the ring. I don't know, but for how many decades, I'm so happy for what I've done in boxing. I brought honor to the Filipino people and so proud to be Filipino. You know what that says to me? That says I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, and here's another thing you brought up distractions. He's thinking of running for president.
Yeah.
That's a huge distraction. President, not of the United States, but the Philippines.
Yeah, no. President of the Philippines, which is huge too. So that's the whole thing, right? When you look at the champs and you look at the different people, like, where's their motivation too?
Yeah.
And like you said, dude, how many? So he's had 75 fights on a car. But how many has he had beyond that?
And sparring too. And the other thing, like Cheyenne Bice, for instance, she had a phenomenal knockout a couple weeks ago in the octagon, and she said, this bonus means that I can fight again. So you've got fighters that are coming up, which, going back to the Jake Paul thing, that are making barely any money to get by. And then you have Manny Pacquiao, who wants to go out on a shield, which I understand that. You have to also consider that this was a last-minute change opponent. You're training your entire camp. I don't care if you've had 150 fights. You're training for a camp for 6-8 weeks, however long it may be, and then you've got to change that around. The worst thing that you could see happen, like my favorite fighter again, Vanderlei Silva, he's been in wars. He's a monster, and you just see him go downhill. But whether you're any athlete at all, you want to go out on a win. You don't want to go out on a loss, and it's sad to see it over and over again.
Darren, take us back to your first year out of the NHL. Did you watch a game and say, you know what, I could have helped him right there. I could still do something right there. Or were you done?
No, I was like, the only time that I get upset where I watch is that if somebody's, right, the protector in me is like where I will beat your ass. You know what I mean? Where I see somebody take an exception to one of the star guys, like I'm out of it. That's the stuff still to this day where I tell Jeff Blashill I got one shift left. I hate to see who it's against, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so when the game, the way when that gets off, but no, I never miss playing. But I got 4 cups, bro. I get mad when I see somebody get taken advantage of, or you know, like a Larkin get maybe like somebody doing something that I could be there to stand up. But that's
in your mind, you still feel, even though this dude might be 26 or 27 years old, I could take him out because of what he just did. He pissed me off that bad.
But here's the thing. It's not like whether I beat him up or not. The fact that I would give, right? The thing, it's never about the beating you're going to take. It's what you're going to give to him. So I could care less. Like the whole point, I'm going in first. You could kill me. Then I don't have to worry about the rest of them, but I'm going in to get my shot in. To prove that I'm not going to stand up for it, you know. So that's the one thing. Even to this day, it wouldn't go as good as it would back in the day.
So you're still the protector in
it's
mind.
the mentality. It's the mentality, right? And it's the same thing. You hit my guy clean, and he should have had his head up or whatever. Well, you're going to get a talking to. But I'm also going to say, dude, you didn't do anything wrong there. Just you hit the wrong guy, you know, and it's handled a little bit differently. So
you at least get a stern lecture from you.
Yeah, stern lecture. Yes, but I still do it when I watch it to this day from the press box or whatever. When the vulnerable truth and integrity is off. So we got more about quitting, right? Or hanging it up. We'll get back to that if you're talking a little college football, as that's coming just around the corner. He's T. Foss. I'm D-Mac. We're here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports. We'll be right back.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Welcome back to Big D Energy. Terry Foster, Darren McCarty here, because it takes just one T. Foster to replace a rule and a bell. That's what I like about it. Art on the ones and twos, fish in the fishbowl. Watching that commercial there, yes, spin class, Terry, is not easy. I don't know what you think it's all about.
I took a spin class because of the word spin. How tough could it be? It's, I probably just go in and ride your little bike and have a good time and and then have a little lollipop at the end. But it was tough.
Hell yeah.
And you do have someone screaming at you
all the time, and then you got to turn attention up of the bike or not, and stand up.
And then you stand up and you can barely pedal the bike.
Yeah,
I'm like, come on, do better. I'm like, it's just the best I can do.
So I'm
out.
Did you do it once?
I did it twice.
You did it twice. Oh, that tells me that you are softening a little bit in the maturity.
It tells you I'm a fool. That's what it tells you.
No, but you have to make sure.
I'm a damn fool.
Listen, I know. Hey, listen, the Dr. Fauci's got you on tight restrictions, bro. So the fact that you went back for 2.
Dr. Fauci wants me out the gym again. But I thought I was going to have a heart attack in there. I'm like, geez, old Pete.
Art's never got
No, because I'll tell you what, I don't work well getting screamed at.
In a gym?
No, but the thing is, if I'm in a gym, I don't want somebody behind me screaming. Like, give me my constructive criticism. I don't need to say, what are you doing? You got to do better. Yo, I'm paying for this. Get the hell out.
Stay at home for that, right?
Yeah, I'll just deal with my wife. You know?
Stay at home. We were talking about, speaking of hanging it up, I did not know. Now, I'm talking about College Game Day, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, and Lee Corso.
Yes.
86 years old. I didn't realize that he was that young. I thought he was older than that.
Well, you thought he was 100?
But he's returning to College Game Day, the Game Day set. I don't know, dude.
But what does he do?
Puts on mascot. Everybody loves him because he puts on the mascot's
That's what he
heads.
does. Now he's a caricature.
Yes.
He's an old fool, and they don't have him do as much as he used to. He's not carrying the show or anything like that. He's just like a buffoon on there. So you could probably do that till he's 90.
Yeah.
Or until he can't put that mask on his head anymore.
Puts the mask on his head and it's too heavy. He falls over.
Up. Whoa!
You know what? I gotta say, over the years, I've enjoyed it, but now it just seems like it's getting a little bit into the joke or the fun of it. Now it almost turns to, because I don't like it when everybody's in on the joke and then it's almost turned to the joke is you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. That's
that. I don't like that.
That's kind of ageism. It's like, here's the old fool who thinks he's still cute, but he's not. We'll just sit up here and ridicule him and laugh at him behind his back. But Lee Corso,
he's getting paid.
He's getting paid. So
here's the other thing. Here's the other thing to consider too. Like, could you imagine doing a job that you love for that long, and then he could retire? He's got money like crazy, but he still wants to go back I think that's admirable. I like that.
Yeah, but it's part of routine.
Yeah.
Too.
And I will applaud ESPN for just by not getting rid of his ass.
Yeah, they've gotten rid of everybody else.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Hey, listen. Yeah, they keep that's kind of rubs some people the wrong way. I don't know.
Because you talk about the WWE cutting people, ESPN's been cutting folks too,
like crazy,
big time.
Yeah.
So is it surprising to see this? You got a few Twitters on. You got.
Yeah, I mean, it just people saying like how sad it makes him. That he looks like a Muppet. I think about it and it's like, again, like if the guy can do it, let him do it.
The two guys in the Muppets, the two guys, Waldorf and whatever
those
their
guys.
names are.
Yep, the mean guys.
But there is something too, like when he does get the pop though, when they're out live and he puts that hat on and they have that College Game Day live atmosphere, there is something to that, but it's more of like, what do you call it, a caricature, like a gimmick?
Yeah, caricature.
It's more of two.
Or an old fool. I think they keep him simply because when he puts on the mask or whatever, that he gets a reaction. He gets boos or he gets cheers right on set. So people like to see that live and the live reaction. He's still able to generate that, but anybody can do that. I mean, because if you're at a football game at Michigan and you're doing a preseason game and they're playing Michigan State and you pick Michigan State to win, yeah, you're going to get booed. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you might get stuff thrown at you.
Well, college, speaking of college, I'd let everybody know that I'm sure we're going to cover it because it's joints, but Wayne State's got some prep football games going on this week, and I think Friday down big games and stuff. That
Thursday through Saturday. I've been there a few years.
I think that's exciting.
It is.
It's exciting for the high school kids, for whatever, to get on the college campus, to get on more of not just your high school field. It's sort of one of these things when you can play up and we find a lot of these different areas around here, and I encourage what they say. They usually get about, like last year or lasted about 12,000 people down there through the weekend and stuff. So
no, they get more than that.
Do they
because
really?
They'll get like 8,000 or 9,000
now
per
let me
game.
ask you this, Terry, because you've covered, been to Ford Field for the championships and stuff like this or whatever, but to have that outdoor game and stuff, it's got that Friday Night Lights sort of feel that
early
anybody,
in the season,
or what they preach and we hear on Texas. But like there's a lot of I think it's pretty cool. I know for me, when I was younger, to be able to come to Joe Louis Arena and skate on that ice, as a 12-year-old. So as a high school kid, to know that, bigger and better things, it's got to be great for the kids.
Yeah, it is. And these are all premier teams. You know, they're not getting the Sisters of the Poor in there, but these are all mostly top 25, top 50 teams in the state playing each other. The only game I don't like is De La Salle always has to play somebody from out of state. I don't know who these teams are. I know they're good, but I remember I think De La Salle. I like when they play Muskegon,
right,
or something like that. But
well, there is enough talent, especially high school wise in the state, that you shouldn't have to bring somebody in from out of state. But it's also a great opportunity to probably see a lot of kids that are gonna move on to the next level, right? Because these are the
right.
top of the top, or the kids that you're gonna see in the newspaper. You know, somebody who wins as Mr. Football or things like this. It's a great opportunity.
It
to
is,
see
and it's good for Wayne State too, because they also have Sound Mind, Sound Body football camp there, and for everybody that's in these camps and everybody in these games are not going to play Division I football.
No.
So the secondary guys that are more Division II, Division III guys say, okay, you know, Wayne State, I had a good time there. I like the campus, so maybe I'll go to school there instead of just automatically going to Grand Valley or Saginaw Valley, where most of these kids would just go.
Well, I think it's huge too, because it's these schools, and it's a football is what's surrounding it, but they also have the cheerleaders, they also have the bands, they also get to show out, you know, their product, and it's everything about it. So being down there, it's not just about the football, but it's about some of these kids that get to see the Wayne State area and see Detroit and see, like, it's become joint. I talk about it all the time, but to see the evolution and to see the way that it's come down there, it's pretty exciting. And it's part of, you know, I guess of another part of the extension of what's going on with the ballparks, the arenas, and everything downtown. So
right,
extended complex.
And if you just look at Wayne State, they've got the new basketball facility that the Pistons, their G League team is going to play in. They've made some improvements on campus, and also the Midtown area is fun now. It's a fun spot to go to, and so now you get kids down there, and they're like, yeah, this is pretty sweet. We had a good time.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing where I notice when I drive down is like the occupancy or the houses in the areas of the Wayne State being more occupied or cleaned up, and the more foot traffic and people walking around than it used to be, you know, back in the 90s, and I mean, I know 20 years ago and stuff like that, but it's just always great to see.
I was down there yesterday for a festival, so they're always having something going on in that area. So it's pretty cool.
And you know what? The more that it extends out, because then it just carries on downtown, and you look at what, you know, get into the city and even to where the arenas are, but then you move towards the Detroit River and you move down to Campus Marshes and stuff. The city, you know what I mean? It's slowly but surely, you know, disappointing because the district isn't the way that it was promised to be, but you know what? It's got some fill gaps where you can see it coming.
Right. And shame on them for promising everything there was supposed to be in the district. I thought it was going to be a walking around area, and with housing and shops and all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. I think all they wanted to do is get their little arena. But people like me, I wasn't in favor of giving them a new arena. But when they talked about the district, I'm like, okay, I'm all for it now, because it's going to be a 50-block area. Back in the day, when I was a kid, my grandmother and I used to shop in downtown. We would walk all the way from the Detroit River to Wayne State, and there was something there just about every step of the way.
That's crazy.
I would love for that to return.
I would love for that to return too. So maybe that, like, hopefully, and it's disappointing because you could be right in that aspect, but hopefully slowly but surely the district seems to be like the last that'll fill in. But
I think people in the community need to put more pressure on the Illich family and the Wings and the Pistons and whomever to fill that in.
Yeah.
You promised this, now we're holding your foot to the fire. So I think, in fact, the district, what they weren't doing, it kind of all went away for a couple years. And then people started bringing it up, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, well now we got Google coming in, we got a few other things coming in, and then I think you need to tell them, got to keep your promise, or else we are going to be a little upset with you.
No, and that's the start, obviously, with the way the city is, and if we got to take care of it at our city, ourself, right here, right now, and because of what it's promised, because at the end of the deal, the city and the people, look what we got downtown. So how about let's little win-win here. Anyways, we're going to take a break. When we come back here on Big D Energy, talking about females, Philly. A Philly got out in Kentucky. Did you see this on Saturday?
I haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen it, stick around because we're going to show you. It's Big D Energy here, Woodward Sports Network.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Welcome back to Big D Energy. Thanks for joining us on this Monday, August the 23rd. Mr. Rule and Mr. Bell will
now you
be
promised
back
me a
tomorrow.
horse, though.
What's that?
You promised me a horse.
I am.
All
I'm
right.
going to give you a horse because
holding your feet to the fire.
What's that?
I'm holding your feet to the
Hold
fire.
my feet to the fire. Well,
That's
you
right.
know what? Art, so Philly escaped Ellis Park Raceway in Kentucky on Saturday. Now, who the hell do you think brought this to the show sheet? Yes, this has to be Tom Mazaway. But, yeah, have you ever seen the number 8 and it just kept going and going? Have you ever seen a horse not only on the freeway, but that 4 just wants to run and run and run and run, and that is crazy. Have you, first of all, right, you've probably run into deer up north, right?
What? Up north? How about here?
You run into deer here?
Oh, all the time.
That's awesome. I actually hit a deer.
Well, I haven't hit one, but I see them all the time.
I hit one 2 years ago, about 10 minutes into deer season. Right, I was just doing a comedy show up at a deer camp, and they had the first buck of the season, and I hit it with the car on the way home, or the van on the way home, and I didn't get to collect.
Hunter D-Mac? Do you?
Yes, I would say that. Yes, I have. I have a nice 8 point to my credit.
Ooh, I was wondering. I'd like to extend the invitation since we're so close. I've got a blind up in Kalkaska. We both know Kalkaska well. Me and you can sit in the blind. We can't smoke in the blind because then the deer, they smell it. But I want to extend the invitation to both you and Terry. If you guys would like to come up to the Great North, you're more than welcome.
For all my,
thanks for my invite.
That's why edibles are. That's why edibles are great in the deer blind. But anyways,
so I'll go up north to hang out. I don't want to actually shoot the deer.
That was the nicest way of saying no.
No, I don't. I did a hunting story, where I was in a deer blind for a day or two, and then finally, after hours, there's a deer that I could have shot, and then when I put the rifle up, I got an anxiety attack. It's like I want to shoot him, but I don't want to shoot him. It's just, my man is, or my girl, yeah, my man. It was a buck. He's just hanging out, having a good time, messing around with the does, and I'm just gonna shoot his ass. I felt really bad about that.
Okay. Well, and not for, so Terry, that's a no on Terry's
Yeah, that's
part.
a no for Terry then.
But
All right,
I'll go
sounds
for
good.
breakfast and brunch and get drunk at the bar after.
Well, yeah, but that's not. Come on,
Do you
like
enjoy
it's-
venison?
No.
You don't. Art?
Oh, I love venison. I grew up on it.
Yeah, fish? You had venison before?
I have not.
You have never had venison?
I've never had venison.
You've never had Jesus.
We gotta give fish some venison sausage.
Bunch of flatlanders around here.
What's your favorite way to...
Jerky all day.
Jerky
I
all
could
day.
eat 40 pounds of venison jerky. And yeah, either that or my dad used to make a really good venison stew that was just, it would cure anything and everything. So
Yeah, I need hamburger.
Hamburger?
From a cow.
yeah, they make venison burgers. I think you would enjoy a good venison burger.
I don't like venison. It's too
Gamey?
Gamey, yeah. That's
Okay.
the right word.
Yeah.
I just don't like the taste.
Terry Foster, while they're eating venison, we'll go out for a cheeseburger.
That's actually fair enough.
I could probably eat it if you hit it in a chili with the sauce and the green peppers and whatever else and tomato. I could probably handle it then, but I've had venison steak and I'm like, nah, I'm out.
That's great. I mean,
We all have
everybody's
different
palate
tastes.
is different and stuff like that. I just wonder, has anybody ever seen like a runaway horse? Obviously not with the number 4 on it, but have you seen something like a runaway horse? So the other day I had a guy. The other day this happened where I forget what street it was, but it was sort of messed up, and the guy missed a one-way, and he turned and he came down the other street where he's on full. Cars are coming this way, and he's at the end of the street. And he realized real quick he was in the wrong way, but
they did end up getting the horse, by the way, so it's not still on the highway.
Well, he's got a tire out. It's not an engine with gasoline. I mean, he's got a. How long's he trained and how long's he run? I'd like to see, like, whatever. He set the record for most miles.
Is there a horse timeout? Does he go in timeout? I mean, is he like, what's the punishment?
To Terry's, was there a filly horse that he saw, or like, where was he running?
They just run. They don't know where they're going.
They just run.
He's just, I got my freedom. I'm not in a trailer, so I'm just going to run until somebody captures me.
That is kind of weird when you think about it, like how horses are treated. I mean, obviously with horse racing, you have to have a horse to do horse racing. But like the jockeys, how they're beating them, and it's just like, I'm surprised PETA hasn't shut that down completely.
I'd be running too, man.
Yeah, I'd be out of there. You're gonna hit me while I'm running? I mean, no thanks.
Some little 5'1" dude and some pink.
Yeah.
Pink thing and they're beating my ass.
Looking like
out.
Frodo trying to beat my ass. Nah, I'm good.
Oh, that's funny. And
I'll run down I-94 instead of take that abuse.
Yeah.
Well, that must be it. But too bad that, like you said, they caught him, so we'll be back at it. Probably don't want to bet him next race. He's probably all winded out.
No, he'll be tired. He'll finish last.
So what do you expect, Terry, before we lead to, do you expect anything on the Lions front? Should we expect sooner than later to hear roster moves? And
yeah, the cut down day is coming up soon. But I think the next thing is Dan Campbell seems upset, and I don't know why. He's very upset about Game 2. The way they came out and they just got mollywopped by the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that's on him.
Right.
You don't play your starters against their starters. What do you expect? If your idea is to see your team look good, that's not happening.
And I think that the best part of the weekend is maybe, I can't pronounce his last name, but the tight end for Ben's new target, the tight end for Pittsburgh. What's his name?
Frogback or something like that.
So put him up. I think he opened some eyes. Like, one of the things too, I guess, is
but he's going up against Tavai.
No,
really? Come on.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is you've got people are trying to pick out different guys for the end of their lineups as a fantasy draft. Are we having a Woodward sports fantasy? Football?
I've been saying it, and I'm going to give Adam my phone, but now that's a bad idea if it's going to be Woodward Sports involved, because then he'll just give me the worst picks possible. It'll be a whole bunch of device. So, yeah, I'm hoping that we do. I mean, the season's coming up. We got to get our heads out of our butts and get this going. You don't want me to organize it, because then I get to make all my picks first. So,
Yeah, you still lose.
Yeah, I'd probably still lose.
Who cares?
Yeah.
All right. Well, good. So, what's on tonight's viewing schedule? No Tigers, no Pistons.
I know what's on your viewing schedule, D-Mac.
What is Fish?
Netflix.
The golf.
The golf.
The golf.
The golf will be on, this afternoon because of Hurricane Henri.
Wait, what was that?
Yeah, why? How come they just name it? How come they just do Hurricane Henry? We're not in France.
Hurricane Henri.
Yeah,
it down on the East Coast, so it make the Northern Trust around. They pulled it back, so we got John Rahm, Cameron Smith.
Is that Canada getting involved in that stuff again?
What?
With Henri.
Henri.
Canada they don't really get hurricanes.
Hurricane Henri.
When you go to Quebec, because you speak English in an American accent, they're dicks to you, man. I'm okay with that.
They do. They have hurricane, like they go by the alphabet, the American alphabet. So they're on H's, and I guess they just pick Henry. Haven't they had Henry before the hurricane?
Yeah, you know, here's what I say. Leave me alone when I go to Quebec. Yeah, I don't speak French, and I don't have a little French accent, but you know what? I'm bringing tourist dollars, so just shut up and let me do my thing.
Well, good luck,
Make sure you
because
get your
they're not going to do
Louis.
that. Especially if you go to Montreal. I heard they're, like, very, very French. Like, they
Yes.
want you to speak French. Well, they would like you to attempt. They would like you to attempt. So if you just
I
go
do
over there and say,
attempt
I'm
if
Terry
you try.
Foster.
I do attempt, but you know what? I had a good experience. I was in Switzerland.
Ooh,
the
love
French
that
part.
country.
It's neutral.
I was covering the
Thank you,
World Figure Skating Championships or something.
That
So
sounds nice.
I would go into the shop every morning to
Were
get
you in
like.
Geneva?
No, I was in Lausanne.
Oh.
So I would get a little sandwich, and there's a cutie pie in there who was in charge of the little sandwich shop, and I would try to speak French to every day, and like the 5th day, she laughed and said, "It's okay, I speak English. You don't have to." And so we just did English from that.
They
and-
speak French in Switzerland?
Oh,
Yeah.
The Swiss probably, because they're neutral, got to speak like 10 languages. I
No,
would say
it's
they.
Well,
French,
everyone in Europe
it's
speaks
French.
85 languages.
It's
All right.
French
We're
in
the
the
only
western
ding-dings that
part, and
don't.
then it's German in the more eastern or northern part of it.
Perfect. That's a good conversation. We will not continue tomorrow. We continue after we sign off, but back tomorrow. Thank you, T. Foss.
I was trying
It's
to
been an
educate,
absolute
that's all.
pleasure. For Arturo from Flint, from the Fish, I'm D-Mac. We'll be back with Big D Energy tomorrow. Neil and Joink will be back. But until then, have a great day. And Fish, tonight, Monday Night Raw. Let's do it, baby.
I'm there.